Brady. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
After stops at Auto Club and Kentucky Speedway, we've head to the Midwest and landed in Kansas Speedway. Now in the trucks after the drivers handle those ARCA cars. And with me tonight, Daniel Cunningham, fresh off of a new baby. Daniel, it's great to have you in the booth with me tonight.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. And yeah, it's really cool to be back up here in the booth. I think it's awesome what you guys have going on with this Foundation Series here, presented by Lincoln Tech. You mentioned started off in the ARCA car, the first 2 races, moving to the trucks now. And for those maybe his first time tuning in, going to progress to the O'Reilly's cars and the Cup Series Next Gen. So kind of a climb the ladder, if you will, with the way you've got this set up. You can see there on the graphic that phase 1 that we just finished up. Got Kansas and Vegas back-to-back for the trucks. I think 2 really good choices there. Michigan and Watkins Glen for the O'Reilly's cars. And then you got Texas and Nashville to round out the summer series. So really awesome to be a part of it. Kansas is one of my favorite tracks too, and I think the trucks probably put on the best show out of anything here.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember calling the playoff race here, Levi McCarty, Patrick Drabick, making fireworks in that playoff race, and take it back to Jeremy Gardner in the Next Gen Championship race, putting on a dominating performance. So Kansas always brings the fireworks, always brings great racing, and I expect nothing less out of these drivers here.
Yeah,
but looking at the rate, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But looking at the race analysis for tonight, we're at 70 laps. The fuels has gone up to 100%, so the drivers will feel the full impact with these cars. 3 tire sets available for everybody, 2 green-white checkers if we're going to need it. And if you watch last night Warrior Series, it came close to using those 2 green-white checkers. So I'm very excited for this, Daniel. Track temp is very high, not too high, but still hot. And with the progressive banking turns, especially in turn 1 and 2, these drivers are going to have a full challenge with these trucks.
They definitely are. The progressive banking lets these drivers move around a lot. This track is still going to chew up tires. It's pretty notorious for that tire wear. Whoever gave them 3 extra sets for a 70-lap race is awful generous with those tire sets here tonight. So shout out to whoever decided that they get to have an extra set or so to play with here tonight. But going to have a good one on tap for the 70 laps, and looks like these drivers have finished up their qualifying runs here, Sam, and it is time to hand out the pole award here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to hand out our 3rd Jam Printing and Promotions pole award to no other than Jamie Lipke, once again on pole. It looks like it's back-to-back, switching from the ARCA car to the trucks. Jamie continuing on that hot streak. Eddie Smith, lone Eddie Smith, is going to be sitting on the outside. Going into the next row, it's the father, Alan Smith, making his first appearance for the series. Oh, no, second appearance for the series. And Daniel Parks is going to sit on his outside. Going into the next row, Rem Wyatt with Mark Barcelos sitting on his outside. Charles Abert, our lone favorite driver in the Army. Charles Abert is going to start in P7 with Kevin Price starting in P8. And then rounding out our top 10, Dylan Simmons is going to take P9, and Jason Kristen is going to start out in P10.
Starting in the 11th position tonight, the 5 of Nate Catilla. And to his outside, it'll be the 68 of Darren Price in 12th. Rolling off in P13 will be Brock Price. Daniel Kirkiel starting to his outside in 14th position. 15th, Chuck Phelps rolling off with Brandon Wallace in the 16th position to his outside. Next up on the grid, traded in the bowling ball here this evening for a start in the Foundation Series. Noah Hogart rolling off in 17th. Claire Sisk to his outside in 18th. And in the top 20 will be Thaddeus Frio in that 19th position. Nick Trussell rounding out your top 20.
Rounding out the back half of the field, Mike Swartzen next to Colton Sisk in 22nd. John Herman starts in 23rd, and Matt Webbers is going to start in P24. Wesley Burke, one of the favorites for tonight, is going to start in the back at P25, and Trevor Dyer starts in P26. Bill Mofield, our favorite Bill, starts in P27, while Randall Peasley will start in P28. And then rounding out the field, Hayden Muir and our one and only Josh Unger rounds out the back half of the field. Well, Daniel, I'm glad to have you in this. I think Kansas is one of your favorite tracks to call. What do you expect out of tonight?
We're going to see a lot of great racing here, a lot of side-by-side action. Things have a tendency to get a little bit chaotic at this track, too, just with how the trucks drive here. It's going to be a matter of who can balance that aggression and the tires here this evening. But green flag is in the air. We are underway here at Kansas.
Underway at Kansas, Jamie Lipke has a great start. Eddie Smith is going to fall right behind, or is he going to challenge? No, he falls right behind Jamie Lipke. And like you said, these drivers have two different lanes that they can run, the bottom and top, but it's going to be a tire chewer either way. Whoa, one car all the way to the bottom. I can't really recognize it, but we've already got some action going on. Real close, 3 wide going into turn 3.
Oh, and some contact there a couple rows back. Trying to see exactly who that was. That is the 49, and then you got the 80 of Kevin Price. They got together. Both drivers able to keep it pointed in the right direction, staying green here. But yeah, already seeing that side-by-side. The front, probably about 7 or 8 cars here starting to single file out, trying to get down to the bottom. Even though you can move around, try a bunch of different lines here to work your way forward, still have to just be patient and run that bottom. If you move up too early, it's going to chew the tires up.
Yeah, definitely chew the tires up. And I mean, with my experience in the next gen and the trucks, these drivers are going to have their hands full for the beginning portion. The truck is going to be really fast, but when those tires really settle in, the speeds are going to slow down, and that dirty air is going to compound further and further for these drivers to fight against.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a balancing act here this evening for these drivers. See that 49 truck there, Mark Barcelos, last truck in the top 10. Got Price there to his inside in the 80. Jason Kristen rocking the old Bell South throwback there in that 02 machine. Good looking truck there. And they are all fighting under a blanket for the last spot in the top 10.
Yeah, these drivers are fighting real hard, and I dare Jason, or I think it was actually Skyler, said he wants that Bell South paint scheme out there. So great to see Jason. Great to see Jason rocking that paint. But yeah, it's a huge battle in that top 10. But this track is giving what it gives.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking a look a little bit further back in the field already. Looking at 18th position here, the 14 of Trevor Dyer, up 8 spots from where they started here this evening. Biggest mover of the race here in the early stages, just on lap number 5. But taking a look here, right on the back bumper of the 83 of Daniel Kirkiel, trying to find a way around. Now going to look to the outside. Should have the momentum after turns 3 and 4 to be able to complete this pass. But that Alabama Tide truck is rolling to the front of the field. Just working his way very patiently, but very quickly up through the field so far.
Yeah, and then right behind until Wesley Burke rocking that Premier Racing Setups car. He is a truck driver for that racing team, so this is home turf for him. And after a kind of hard start for the beginning of the season for Wesley, I'm sure he really wants to get some points here tonight.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges with these summer series compared to the spring and the fall series that we do here in Goat Locker. It's just a lot shorter. You don't really have that reset with a playoff or anything like that to kind of get you back in the game. So a bad race, a bad start, it's a lot harder to overcome here. But
Yeah,
up at the front though, we've got battles all over the place here. A lot of side by side going on.
yeah. I mean, Kansas is really giving us the entertainment, even though the leaders have pretty much stayed the same. The back half of the field, everybody's jockeying for position. As I think that's a Brock Price going on the inside of Nate Cotilla, and it's side by side into turns 3 and 4. I think Brock is going to have a decent exit, but Cotilla on that high side, he's going to have the speed. They separate, and everybody jockeying, trying to get that dirty head. Oh! That almost turned into a nightmare situation for Jason Kristen. Going between that banking in the tri-oval can really unsettle the back half of the truck.
Yeah, if you're going to cut the apron, you really have to commit to it. Get all the way down on the flat. If you kind of straddle that transition in the banking, it can send the truck around. So learning moment there for the 0-2 of Jason Kristen. But still, I mean, didn't really lose a ton of time with that. Still right on the tail of this battle here at the back of the top 10. Up at the front of the field, though, Eddie Smith is starting to close back in just a little bit here on Jamie Lipke. Lipke had pulled out to about a 3 or 4/10 of a second lead. But Eddie Smith maybe just kind of managing those tires, starting to track the 16 down here.
Yeah, and if you look right behind his old man, Alan Smith in the 00, getting past Daniel Parks, and I think that's Charles Abert in tow trying to push him past. It's going to look like that's going to get done, and now Jamie Lipke's going to have to deal with the father-son combo of the Smiths if they want to get a win tonight. Alan Smith, always a competent driver on all these tracks in any type of car. Charles Abert, our reigning ARCA AM champion, he's also shown his prowess in the trucks as well. So it's turning out to be a really good battle. And I think one thing that we forgot to mention with these 70 laps and the tire chewing, these drivers have about 40 to 45 laps on fuel, but there might be some early pit stops in the later stages of the lap 30s that these drivers come down, get fresh rubber, and fuel the end of the race.
It definitely could. And I know we have a tendency here in Goat Locker to run the 60 or 70% fuel, but personally, I love running the full fuel loads. I think it gives drivers a little bit more back in their hands as far as strategy plays. Do you want to run it long? Do you want to try to undercut people? I think it just opens up that playbook a lot more when you can stretch it further on fuel. So it'll be interesting if we end up seeing green flag stops here tonight, how that plays out. And back up here at the front, you know, you mentioned it, Charles Abert, he is trying to get around Alan Smith here, rather, in the 00. He's trying to break up that father-son podium position there.
Yeah, and the one great thing about this series is we're seeing a lot of family member combos, father, son, like you see up front with Eddie Smith and Alan Smith. We have uncle and nephew combos with Brock Price and Kevin Price. So a lot of inter-family teammate games being played while Daniel Parks is trying to hold off Dylan Simmons, one of our newcomers in the league. Dylan Simmons has been showing promising speed in the series that he's been running. Ooh, a little bit of contact between them going into 1 and 2, but I think Dylan Simmons is going to realize, hey, I'm not going to get past Daniel Parks without a fight, so he's probably going to reload and try to get that pass done earlier. Whoa!
Well, that was the 5 of Cotilla making some contact with the wall there, but able to keep it in one piece down the straightaway. Doesn't look like there's any damage to that truck, just a bit of a kiss to the wall there. But, you know, real quick, Sam, you talked about the family dynamics going on here. Also got Claire and Colton Sisk both racing here tonight. Another family duo that's out on track. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to race with any family members before, but I've raced with my cousin a bunch of times on iRacing. And I don't think I actually help him out whenever we're racing. He's the one that I mess with the most whenever we're out on track. So sometimes you may have those family members that try to work together, but other times that's the one you really want to beat more than everybody else, or maybe even just mess with them a little.
Yeah, I definitely know Eddie Smith, who just takes the lead from Jamie Lipke, is definitely trying to beat his old man. He always says that he loves beating his old man in racing. And Eddie Smith getting out to a 3/10 lead, so it seems like he was saving his tires for a late charge in this run, and now he's taking the lead. Jamie Lipke's starting to go high, so she's working those tires on the high side, while Alan Smith and Charles Abert run that low line. So we're starting to see tire advantages, tire games starting to be played between drivers, some choosing the high side to maximize speed, some choosing the low side to maximize tire life. But this is the beauty of Kansas right here. It's all mind games for all these drivers out here.
It really is. And one of the things, too, is I like what Eddie is doing, where he's just being very patient, very disciplined, running the bottom of the track. Jamie Lipke seems like she's found something up on that top groove, had started to actually pull the gap back just a little bit. Of course, as soon as I say that, Eddie Smith pulls about 2/10 over in turns 3 and 4. But one of the things that I know that I've always noticed with Kansas is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you would think they would drive pretty similarly, but seems like 1 and 2, you can really wrap the bottom more. It's a little bit wider of a turn. 3 and 4, it seems like it favors that high groove a little bit. So, it's just, again, like you said, it's kind of the beauty of this track with the progressive banking, the way that it drives. It just gives you so many different options of what you can do and how you can try to make time here.
Yeah, looking at the chat, it looks like another family dynamic is hitting the scenes right here with Thaddeus and Trevor Dyer. I don't know who Greg is, but he's probably rooting for Trevor and also rooting for Thaddeus, telling them to take their time, work their way through the field as patient as possible, and you'll be there for the win. So I got to agree with Greg as well. If Thaddeus and Trevor take their time, which I think Trevor, I'm not sure how many positions he's gained since the start, but he's been moving through the field. If Trevor keeps up this pace, he'll be up there in the top 5 sooner or later.
Yeah, Trevor Dyer and Wesley Burke currently the two biggest movers. Wesley in 15th, up 10 spots. Trevor up 9, currently in the 17th position. So those two drivers have certainly made their way up through the field. And here you go, talking about the family dynamic. You've got the 43 and the 80, the battle of the prices here, Brock and Kevin. And it looks like Brock is going to be able to take the position, should have the momentum up here on that high side. But Kevin Price right there as well in the 80 and trying to fight back here. But looks like the 43 has got the speed, has the pace, and is going to be able to clear for that position.
So I know you just had a son. Are you waiting for the day that he can reach the pedals and then you could throw your son in the rig and see if you can beat him?
Not only that, but some of my wife's friends that are into real life dirt car racing have already offered to build him his first real life race car. So he's going to be on the sim at some point, man. We were already watching, the truck race the day he was born. He was only a few hours old. So he's already got the bug for it, man. He cries when the race is in. So he's there for it.
That's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. And I hope he loves battles because we're seeing a lot of battles on track right now. Looking through the back of the field, Jason Christen's trying to hold off Nate Cotilla. That battle for the last of the top 10 has been brewing. Chuck Phelps, he's crawling his way up through the field a little bit. I think that's Noe Hoagie Hogard in the 158. I'm very surprised to see him still running. Noah Hogard up 3 positions. And you know what? I'm going to stop talking about him because I don't want to give him any commentator curse tonight. But great to see him out here on track tonight.
Yeah, it is. So I'm not going to say his name or his number because, well, Sam, you know what my track record is with that. But we've got contact. The 43 of Price is around. Yellow flag is out. That is going to be the first caution of the day here. Contact between he and Simmons in the 11. I don't think that Brock Price hit anything. It looks like he was able to keep it off the ball. But yeah, I think it looked like from that angle, the 43 of Price maybe gets a little bit loose. I mean, the 11 of Simmons was packing a little bit of air on him just with that angle and how they were offset. And just contact between the two down the straightaway. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of an air pack going on here from the 11, and Price gets loose, comes down across the nose of the 11 trying to chase it. And that'll give these drivers a reset here on lap number 23, probably just a touch outside of the fuel window to make it to the end on one stop here. I'd be really, really close, just over 45 laps.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was about 45 laps, 44 or 43 that they can run on full tank. So I'm expecting everybody to come down. But like you said, they're still going to be a little bit short, probably 3 or 4 laps short. So we might see some clutching now. Some drivers trying to hold off and gain some fuel for the rest of the run, while there's some others who might think that cautions precautions, and they're going to have another opportunity to tap off and get ready for the last part of the race.
And this is going to open the floodgates, like you mentioned. Everybody coming down pit lane here. Keep an eye on the race off of pit road. And, also kind of to touch on your point, we may see some drivers come back down, top off with 1 to green to see if they could stretch it should we go green to the end. Definitely had a nice green flag run to start off here. Race off of pit road. I think Jamie Lipke was able to beat Eddie Smith out of the pits. Eddie had a ton of wheel spin there trying to get out of his stall, and that is going to give control of the race back to the 16. Eddie Smith, Charles Abert, Alan Smith, and Daniel Parks, your top 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the new update in iRacing that's tracking pit road speed, he could have got a black flag real quick if he was over that limit a little too far on pit exit. So looks like he got clear of that. But Eddie definitely is going to try again to get past Jamie Lipke. But fresh tires on both cars. It's going to be a battle to the end.
It certainly is going to be a battle to the end. And, I know that I'm just a visitor up here in the booth. This might be a little bit of, a little bit of something different here. But what do you say we try to talk to one of these drivers real quick while we got a caution here? I got somebody queued up that I want to bring up here. Brandon Wallace, this is your favorite V-Speed commentator.
Oh, no.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Sam. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that,
yeah.
David.
All right. Thanks. I'll keep this short. Hey, we know that you're the fuel saving expert here. Coming down to top off 1 to green. You think you're going to be able to make it to the end if this goes green?
Oh, yeah, we'll make it to the end if it goes green. You should be able to clutch it a little bit and save a little fuel. It's right on the window, though. If you go full out, you're not going to make it.
Okay. Well, there you go. I wanted to get a word from an expert, so I'll move you back down here wherever I feel like putting you in the chat. We'll see if I get you in the right place. Good luck to the end of this one, Brandon.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Man, Brandon Wallace already reminding me in the chat what's the pace speed for tonight. And thank God I'm not racing because I have no idea. So whatever the pace car's doing is the pace speed for me.
Well, there you go. And hey, feel honored because I said it was his favorite V-Speed commentator, and he said your name, not mine. So, I mean, that just shows you where we got the rankings here, at least for 2 of the 3 of us up here. But getting ready to go back green. Field in control of Jamie Lipke in the 16 as they head to that extreme scoring restart zone. We'll see if Brandon Wallace's assessment comes true here that they can make it to the end. Green flag back out, 45 laps to go at Kansas.
Jamie Lipke gets full control of that. It looks like Eddie Smith is going to have a battle with Charles Abert. Like I said, Charles Abert is a very competent driver in any type of car. He definitely wants to get a win. He's been hungry for a win in this series. Eddie Smith, Alan Smith, Dylan Simmons walking in that top 5 position, but Daniel Parks with fresh tires, he's always a threat in the beginning of these runs. So 3 wide almost between these drivers. It's going to be a battle as they run to the apron to get some air off of these guys. And man, it's just looking like it's heating up to be a great finish for us.
Yeah, and you could already see a lot of these drivers trying to migrate their way to the bottom of the track. Eddie Smith there looked like maybe got a little arrow tight behind the 16 of Jamie Lipke, just riding right in the wake of that truck. Charles Abert able to close right in on the back bumper, or also got to wonder if maybe Eddie's being just a little bit ginger with that throttle, trying to make sure that he's got enough fuel to make it to the end of this one. See good battle for position here. You got Simmons, Parks. You've got the 5 of Catilla here as well, all trying to work their way up here into this top 5 and make their way further up the field.
Yeah, and Simmons is running that Chick-fil-A scheme right there, and I'm loving that. I love Chick-fil-A, but Daniel Parks says, hey, I don't care about eating more chicken. I want to get this position, and it looks like he's going to go. He wants to get into that, and looks like the chicken's going to win out on that lap. This battle's going on, and if I were them, I would start thinking about your tires being side by side. Not only hurts your time behind, but hurts your tires in the long run. And Trevor Dyer, we were talking about it, Roll Tide, even though I'm a War Eagle person, he's moving up to the top 10. And I think Trevor Dyer is going to put his name into the bucket for this top 5 real soon.
Yeah, and I think that caution came at the perfect time for Dyer. His progress had kind of stalled out a little bit, you got to think when you're that far back in the pack to start off with, you're going to burn your tires up just working your way through that dirty air. He did a phenomenal job of it, but got that reset, get some fresh tires on the truck, and can go back at it. But man, you could see it there. There is an absolute hornet's nest back here. Starting with Wesley Burke, you've got Chuck Phelps, Noah Hogart, whole host of others here as well. Thaddeus Friel is trying to work his way through this mess. If any of these guys are trying to save fuel, it certainly doesn't look like it. Also got the 43 of Price there trying to recover after that spin that brought out the caution. Thought about 3 wide, still thinking about 3 wide, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the opportunity for some of these guys to gain position. As I think, oh, we got a car loose in turn 2, still kind of loose, but hangs onto it. Not really sure who that is. I think that was Thaddeus Friel. Thaddeus almost collects Chuck Phelps into that. Like you said, I mean, Brandon Wallace said that they could clutch it, but it looks like some of these drivers, like you said, are really pushing it, trying to gain their positions and get into a decent place. If it's going to be in green flag pit stops, that they could probably fight for this win.
Yeah, we've got a battle for the lead right now, too. Eddie Smith and Jamie Lipke, they are side by side. Eddie Smith looking to the inside, Lipke up top. Lipke's going to have the momentum. Eddie's going to slot back in line here. But, yeah, I think this is kind of similar to what we saw the first run. Eddie going to the top, though. Charles Averitt gets in the wall. Looked like just that move up to the top, putting some dirty air on the 7. Got a little arrow tight there, and Averitt going to lose a few spots. But now here goes Eddie back to the outside. Going to try to carry that momentum and take this lead away.
And these scenes right here kind of reminds me of Cletus when he was running in Michigan, learning for the first time how these trucks get affected by the air, and just having a car right on your right rear on these trucks can really make you tight through these corners. And I know Jamie Lipke was thinking about it, but she gets to go to the bottom. Eddie Smith is going to go for the speed on the top, and it's going to be a dash to that start finish line for this next lap. And it looks like Eddie Smith is going to get back the lead and take control of this field.
Yeah, and I would expect to see Eddie go back to the bottom now that he has cleared through for that lead. You can see him working back to the bottom of the track. If these drivers commit to that top lane, I don't think there's any way that they can make it to the end on fuel. You're going to burn more up there, just more throttle time, running that top groove. Of course, as soon as I say that, here goes Eddie running back up to the top, but maybe just a little bit of a defensive move there out of the 87, just trying to keep some dirty air on that second place driver. Make sure that he can keep control of this one. I mean, once you get that clean air out in front, you definitely want to do everything you can to try to maintain that.
Yeah, looking at the packs right now, we got our lead pack right here just coming through the cameras, and now our second pack rolls through. So some of these drivers with the battling have kind of got separated into different packs. And if I was those packs behind this lead group, I would start getting in single file, start worrying about my fuel, and start running to catch up to that pack of the front.
And a lot of side-by-side here, a few cars back. You got Jason Kristen part of this battle. There is Dyer still trying to fight his way forward. You got Dylan Simmons, Mark Barcelos, all of these right here at the back part of the top 10. Again, just kind of a hornet's nest right now. Trevor Dyer still committed up to that top lane, trying to find a way around. But when they're side-by-side in front of you like that, it doesn't really leave you a whole lot of options on where to go. Finally do narrow out a little bit. And Dyer's still committed to running that top groove.
Yeah, Trevor Dyer definitely wants to get to the front and is not afraid to use his tires to the best of his ability. But with this side-by-side battle and the truck being sucked back into it, he makes the clean pass and he's able to get to the bottom. It looks like Trevor Dyer is now into the top 10 and his sights are now set on getting into that top 5. Really great racing by Trevor Dyer right now.
Yeah, just an absolute charge through the field, up 17 spots from where he began this evening, trying to make a few more of those up. And just taking a look at some of the drivers in the running order, you know, we already talked about Wesley Burke up 12 spots from where he started this evening. Another driver that's on a pretty big charge is that 63 of Randall Peasley, currently running in the 15th position and up 13 spots from where he started, currently looking to the outside of Thaddeus Friel, trying to find another spot here. And yeah, just slow and steady progression up through this pack. And I mean, well, I say slow and steady, but he was just about shoving Thaddeus through the corner there.
Woohoo, yeah, and he got right behind that tailgate and gave him some air that Thaddeus did not want to have. So he was loose coming into the corner. They're still close together. Wesley Burke was blinking a little bit, so a little bit of connection issues in front. It's a real sticky situation for these drivers. But like you said, Randall Peasley with a great run so far, running that American Legion paint scheme. I love to see that. Chuck Phelps right behind, trying to get into Brock Price. A little bump by Brock Price into turn 3. These drivers are really not trying to save fuel right now.
No, these drivers that are a little bit further back in the pack, I think that their biggest mindset right now is just track position. Try to gain what you can, bank on another caution. What's going to be interesting is if some of these drivers don't think that they could make it to the end and that they're basically committed to making another stop, we're not all that far away from possibly seeing green flag pit stops. It's 45 to go when they came down. And I mean, you'd be looking at another 5 to 10 laps if you're splitting it right down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these times, the top 5 are running about the same. But if you look in the back of the field, I'm looking at, wow, I lost the name. Jason Kristen is starting to run a little bit slower times. He might be clutching in the field. Rem Wyatt might be also clutching right now. I haven't checked their cockpit cams, but it looks like some of these drivers in the back have started to realize that there is an opportunity not only to save enough fuel, but be in the top 10 and be ready to probably pounce for a top 3 tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be an opportunity if this goes green to the end for some drivers to get up here and maybe not necessarily steal a win if some of these guys up at the front can make it to the end, but at least, steal a really good finish, possibly even a podium out of it, depending on how you play your cards with these cautions and the fuel strategy. But a little bit further up the running order here, got Catilla and Price battling for position, and Trevor Dyer just continuing that drive to the front. He has caught these two, and like we said a few times now, he is definitely not saving fuel at this point. He is just going for it, throwing them up on the dash and trying to work his way through this field.
Yeah, the Auburn fan in me doesn't really want to root for Trevor Dyer, but running with Trevor Dyer in another league, I'm always going to root for this guy. He's a great driver, and he's been showing his skill through this field. I see his dad is in the chat telling him to keep it going, keep running that patient game, and he's going to get to the top 5. So Trevor Dyer, he's the one to look out for right now between Eddie Smith and Jamie Lipke out in front. But like you said, with the laps starting to wind down, you never want to be the last person to pit in a fuel situation, but especially in this kind of part of the race, you don't want to be too early into the pits and lose a bunch of positions.
No, you're 100% correct on that. I never like being the first one on pit road by any stretch. I feel like you're boxing yourself in a little bit too much if you do that. But once you get more than a handful of drivers coming down pit lane, it kind of forces your hand, especially depending on where they are in relation to you on track. If you're Eddie Smith up here and some of these guys in second or third, fourth, and really in this pack here start to come down pit lane, it's going to kind of force him to make a decision on, does he want to have to pass all of them on track should everything cycle out?
Yeah, and I mean, we're starting to see drivers struggle a little bit with their tires. So I'm sure these tires really want to get changed. But also, like you said, you don't want to be too early in the pits. Looking at this, Eddie Smith in full control of the field right now. Jamie Lipke has fallen off just a tad from Eddie Smith, but still in his draft. While Charles Averett still in third. And Daniel Parks, he's still in this top 5, but it's going to be close to the end.
Yeah, this is intriguing to me. This is where I'm glad that I'm back up here in the booth and not necessarily out on track having to sweat out the fuel mileage. Can I make it to the end? Can I not make it to the end? Because whenever you're in these situations, if you're somebody like Eddie Smith, Jamie Lipke, really any of these drivers up here in this lead pack, this top 5, somebody a little bit further back in the field is going to try that alternate strategy. I look at like the 11 of Dylan Simmons, somebody that has dropped quite a few spots, and I'm not sure if it's a handling issue or if he's just trying to save fuel. But you know what? None of that matters, because we've got a yellow flag out right now with a driver around on the back straightaway. That is the 68 of Darren Price. I think the 11 was caught up in that as well. So, we might want to call that a commentator curse here.
Yeah, commentator curse might have happened. It really started from turn 1 as we go back into this replay. And I think the caution had just came out between those drivers, and the 68 just got caught up in between the 11. Not sure if the 68 knew that the 11 was right up high, but if I was a 68 spotter, I would probably head back to the hauler and hide because that's a really bad situation.
Yeah, that is a tough situation because yeah, the yellow was already out when those two made contact. So that is definitely odd. But yeah, I mean that's going to take all that talk that we had of pitch strategies. Can you make it? Can you not make it? That's going to take all that and throw it right out the window here as everybody will come down pit lane, and that will put us where they could just go all out to the end. So we'll see if Eddie Smith can retain the lead off of pit lane this time. Jamie Lipke was able to leapfrog him on the last pit cycle. And again, I think this also plays right into Trevor Dyer's hands, was able to get his way up a bunch more spots through the running order. And I mean, it comes out at the right time for him to reset yet again and get some more fresh tires.
Yeah, if I was the top 5, I would be scared right now because Trevor Dyer, he had to battle through some cars who were a little bit slower than he was, and now he's got clear air and probably drivers that run about the same pace. So now the mind games are going to start. Looking at the pit exit right here, Jamie Lipke with a good exit, and it looks like Jamie Lipke is going to take that lead back from Eddie Smith. So this battle between Jamie Lipke and Eddie Smith has been going on all race. But like you said, now with this caution and everybody in perfectly fine on fuel and fresh tires, with probably we're going to restart with about 21 to go. It's going to be a shootout right to the end.
And something else that is worth noting here, as our producer just pointed out, Wesley Burke took 2 tires on that stop. So he's going to restart in P3 here. I don't know how that 2-tire call is going to work for him. Definitely nets him a bunch of track position, gets him up here with a fighting chance at the lead. But man, 20 laps to go roughly when we go back green. That's going to be a tall order for 2 tires to hang on.
Yeah, I mean, 2 tires is definitely a choice, but I know running with Wesley in these trucks, 2 tires in this new truck model actually can work if you know how to save your tires. The new truck model in iRacing doesn't really abuse the left side tires like it used to. So some of these drivers who are a little bit more experienced in the trucks, like Wesley Burke, probably knows how to get away with that, similar to Jeremy Gardner and Patrick Drabick in their 2-tire battles in the next gen. So it's going to be a really interesting chess match between these drivers. But right now, my money's on Trevor Dyer. I think Trevor is really going to show his money's worth now.
Wait, did you just say Patrick Drabick knows about 2 tires? I thought he was usually on the wrong end of that.
He's usually on the wrong end. It's usually Jeremy Gardner showing him that 2 tires always works.
Well, we'll see if Pat's if he goes back and watches the broadcast tonight. I might get an inbox from him on that one. But a couple other drivers in the top 10 that did take 2 tires as well. Randall Peasley in 9th, and Noah Hogard right there just outside the top 10, actually in 12th, took 2 tires as well. So we'll see how this works out for him. Getting ready to head into that extreme scoring restart zone here with 20 laps to go. Jamie Lipke, the control truck, back underway, but a good jump there for Eddie Smith. Was able to time that up pretty well. Maybe even a little bit of a contact there, a little door swipe between the 2 leaders.
Yeah, it looks like tire spin for the leader, Jamie Lipke. So they're going to go side by side into turn 1. Everybody 3 rows back, side by side. These are the critical moments for these drivers to get in their position and defend. With these fresh tires, they'll be able to go to the end and kind of defend it. Whoa! Wesley Burke throws the block on old man Eddie Smith. He said, "No, sir, you're not getting past me." But Eddie Smith said, "I'm going to teach you some tricks, young man." And he's going to the apron and taking that position back.
Yeah, Eddie Smith takes the lead here. That's Alan Smith in the 00 on the bottom, trying to work his way up into a podium position, currently side by side. And I think he might have gave a little door back to Wesley Burke there, as Burke went way up the racetrack, gets into the wall just a little bit, and he's going to lose quite a few spots here. That opens the door now for Trevor Dyer, trying to find his way into the top 5 for the first time here this evening. Looking to the outside of Daniel Parks, got Alan Smith right there in front as well. Eddie Smith, though, up at the front of this field, he's starting to check out over a half a second ahead of this pack as Abert and Lipke are side by side for second.
Yeah, and the one thing that Eddie Smith doesn't want right now is a caution. If you look in the back of the field right there, it's a hornet's nest for those top 10 positions. They're going 3 wide into the corner. Dylan Simmons, Jason Kristen, and Brock Price running that high line. He's really working the tires. And I don't know if Wesley Burke got some damage from that contact, but he's starting to fall back, especially with those 2 tires. This could really turn into a situation where a driver doesn't want to be in a certain position. And we almost had contact with Randall Peasley, another 2-tire driver, really trying to struggle. And Jason Kristen trying to find some air to get back.
Oh, Peasley and Wallace contact. 63 at Peasley is around, and that is going to put us under caution. The 84 comes in and makes contact as well. And that is going to be significant damage for both of those drivers. So we go back and take a look at this one, right what we were talking about. And that's just an instance of not clear on the part of the 63. I mean, we know he was fighting the handling with those 2 tires and then just gets absolutely murdered by the 84 right there of Hayden Muir. But yeah, that caution is I mean, that's kind of preventable there. You're coming up across somebody's nose like that, but we're going to take a look here on board with the 84. Yeah, just smoke, can't see what's in front of you, can't see where that truck is stopped at, and really heavy contact there.
Yeah, heavy contact by Hayden Muir, but they have that fast repair, so if they didn't have any damage before, they're probably going to be okay. But like I said, this is the one thing Eddie Smith did not want to see, a caution. And guess who's in the top 5 right now? It's Roll Tide Trevor Dyer. He's in the top 5. So if I was Eddie Smith right now, I'd be talking to my old man and being like, hey, block that kid for me because he's coming after me now.
Well, and something to consider, Sam, these drivers do get lane choice on restarts. The race leader does. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The race leader does get lane choice, so it'll be interesting to see what Eddie Smith decides.
Yeah, because if Eddie wanted to be able to work with his dad on this restart, Alan Smith in P4, he could take that top lane and maybe, they're in chat together, try to time up this restart where they could get up there and really control, try to control this restart. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he elects to do here, because we also saw it on that last restart, and that was with fresh tires. A little bit of tire spin out of that bottom lane with Jamie Lipke that allowed Eddie to get alongside to start with.
Yeah, and then definitely if you were the driver that was pushing the tires a little bit too hard on that restart, it's a breather for those tires. So you still got a little bit more life, and you're going to be pushing. And I'm hearing over comms that Eddie Smith is going to take the outside on this restart. So Eddie taking the advantage position and putting Jamie Lipke on that bottom. So if Jamie doesn't get a really good start and spin those tires again, it's going to be smooth sailing for Eddie Smith.
Yeah, and it looks like we do have some drivers that elected to come down pit lane on this caution. Got Noah Hogard, Randall Peasley, Brandon Wallace, Hayden Muir, Darren Price, all coming down pit lane on this caution, and Bill Bowfield as well. So pretty buried back in traffic. They do have a 7-lap tire advantage to their benefit here. And, if we get another caution after a handful of laps, some other drivers elect to come down pit lane, they may be able to stay out and get some of that track position back. But, with as big as the field is, I kind of feel like if you're up here at the front in the top 5, top 10, maybe even, you're kind of locked into what you've got for the rest of this race.
Yeah, locked in, definitely. And, like we said, the Foundation Series, this is the purpose of the Foundation Series for these drivers who may not be part of our Premier Series. These are the situations that you need to learn in order to compete in high-level racing. What do we do when it's about to be 10 to go? You have old tires. How do you position yourself to get into the top 3? Maybe you'll win. So I know Charles Aber, Daniel Parks, Trevor Dyer are case in point tonight. How does Trevor Dyer get through this field and try to pass an Eddie Smith who's been pretty dominant tonight?
Yeah, this race has really been dominated by the two on the front row, Eddie Smith and Jamie Lipke. They have been the class of the field so far. Getting down into the pay window, we'll see if anybody can mount a challenge as we hit that extreme scoring restart zone. Green flag is back out. Looks like Eddie got a pretty decent jump, but Lipke holding strong on that bottom lane. Eddie Smith should be able to clear through for the lead, able to drop down in front of the 16. But that's going to leave his old man hanging out to dry with no drafting help up on that top lane. He's going to try to pick him back up down the straightaway.
Yeah, it's a huge battle right now for the top 5 positions. Trevor Dyer sticking to that outside like he's always has. He's fallen back as Charles Abert has pushed his way back through the field. Daniel Parks is going all out. He wants to get into that top 3, and we're going 3 wide into turn 1 with about 11 to go.
They are 3 wide, the 71 of Parks in the middle, Dyer and Aber to either side. Nobody's going to lift. Too late to try to lift at this point. Almost contact there between the 3 of them. Aber maybe making just a little bit of contact with the 71, but everybody able to get through relatively cleanly. And still got Dyer up there ripping the Larson line, trying to find a way up through the rest of this pack.
Yeah, 3 by 3 for some of these drivers right here. Trevor Dyer now in some clean air. He's going to make his attack start, going to go after Daniel Parks right here. And knowing how Trevor Dyer has been running this race, a little bit loose coming out of 2. He wants to get that top 3 tonight.
Yeah, he has definitely made up a ton of ground, up 21 spots from his initial spot on the grid here this evening. And looking for more. They're side by side in front of him. He should be able to get a little bit of a draft down this straightaway, but he's still got some challengers out back. See, Thaddeus Friel, first time we've really seen him up near the top 5 this evening, making a late charge here. Actually going to try to look to the inside of Dyer and able to kind of make some momentum, make some time there through the turn. He's going to be looking to the inside, and they're side by side still in front for the final podium position.
Yeah, side by side for that position. Jamie Lipke suffering a little bit. She might have used up her tires as she starts to fall back, but shades of Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr. up front, father blocking for son, and Eddie Smith in full control of this field right now. It's a beautiful sight to see, but we still are under 10 to go. Anything can happen in these next 10 laps.
Still quite a bit of racing to go here, a lot to be settled. The Smith family up there in first and second. And, they also, just a side note, those 2 drivers are ARCA champions in the Pro and AM divisions as well in the same season at that. Both of them winning it at the same time, which is a really cool feat, father and son doing that also. But back behind them, I mean, they've got control of this race right now, but back behind them, I mean, all hell is trying to break loose back here. Still side by side for third, still thinking about 3 wide momentarily for the 4th position, and starting to maybe single file out just a little bit. Jamie Lipke trying to get control of that 3rd position, but Daniel Parks still fighting back on the inside.
Daniel Parks really showing his growth in the series. He has full command, and he's going after Jamie Lipke right now. It's looking like a little bit of aero grief on Daniel Parks, but he still has full control of this car. The top 10 has kind of separated out. Pretty much the top 7 separated out right now. We're under 7 to go. It's really turning out to be a great race so far. And look at that. Thaddeus Friel. Like you said, we haven't really spoken much about him, but running with Thaddeus in other series and also in Goat Locker, he likes to show up right on time, right at the end of these races.
He really does. And even directly ahead of them, Dylan Simmons in the 11. I mean, we saw him up here earlier in the race running in the top 5. The scoring pylon is only going to show that he's gained 4 spots from where he started, but at one point had dropped all the way back into the 20s. We saw that he kind of got a piece of one of those wrecks earlier. He has had to drive his way back up through this field. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster night for him, but done a great job working back into the top 5. And still this battle directly in front of him for 3rd between Lipke and Parks still going on here. Parks trying to find a way around, and slowly but surely they are gaining a little bit of ground on those front 2 as well.
Yeah, and definitely Eddie Smith and Alan Smith is loving to see that these cars are battling behind. Just gives them more opportunity to probably pull away. Alan Smith starting to look like Daniel Parks is making the move on the inside. He's no longer patient to stay behind Jamie Lipke. Daniel Parks, he's done this before at Kansas. He's going to put his nose where it sometimes doesn't need to be, but if he can make it work, Daniel Parks is gunning for that 3rd position right now.
And this is exactly what Eddie and Alan Smith want to see. Side by side for 3rd. It should allow them to stretch the lead out just a little bit. as they are now 0.6 of a second over Jamie Lipke. Lipke able to maintain the position. We'll see if she can chase these top two back down again, but that is certainly going to hurt the effort here. Needs to try to keep these trucks single file if they're going to get up there and mount a challenge for the win.
Yeah, single file is out the window right now if I'm looking at it. Dylan Simmons trying to figure out which driver to work with. Almost contact between the two fighting for third place in Jamie Lipke and Daniel Parks. So Dylan Simmons, he knows if he's in the right position at the right time, he's going to make it. He's going huge block by Daniel Parks right here. Shades of the playoff race here at Kansas just in the spring season. These drivers are really putting on the line for the last 3 laps.
And again, this is exactly what the Smiths want to see behind them. They are starting to pull away from this battle, and more trucks are starting to join this third place battle. You've got the 11 of Simmons still hanging right there. Friel, Abert, they are starting to close back in on this battle for third here also. Just a lap and a half to go. You know, right now, those top two, they are definitely wanting to get to this white flag, so they do not have to worry about any tire strategy, any other restarts. It is in sight. Really tight battle here for the third position. We do indeed take the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Glove Station here at Kansas.
Yeah, white flag lap. The battle for first is kind of settled, but the battle for third isn't. Jamie Lipke, really rough start to the season in the beginning. Daniel Parks was part of that issue. 3 wide going into the backstretch. This is going to turn into a 4 wide battle. Charles Abert really wants to be part of this battle right here. Dylan Simmons has taken third from those drivers. The Chick-fil-A truck has shown that its figure looking good. I think that's Popeyes, but Dylan Simmons will take third. Eddie Smith, Alan Smith taking the win. And I'm seeing on timing screens right now that Alan Smith took the win. We might have missed a father-son battle for the win.
Oh, no, we'll have to go back and pull the replay of this one. I thought it was over between the big run out of turn number 4. And he did. Alan Smith gets him at the line. They both crash going across the start-finish line. But, oh, my gosh, what a battle. We had the 3 almost 4 wide for position. And I'll be honest, guys, I thought that battle for the win was over. Alan Smith was 3 or 4 tenths of a second back of Eddie when that lap started. And I mean, he just made that run from out of nowhere and is able to get the win here tonight at Kansas. Only leads 1 lap, but it's the only one he needed to lead.
I mean, this is really what this is all about. The battles in Kansas really shows that there's some fireworks at the end. Dylan Simmons showing that he was patient enough, had the tires to get past Daniel Parks and Jamie Lipke, but huge finish. I need to take a breather. We're going to be right back after this break, and we'll interview the top 3. Well, I caught my breath, and that was what we wanted from Kansas. Always a fun track, always fun battles, and great finishes, always in Goat Locker here at Kansas. Looking at the race results, the father takes the win at the line. Alan Smith, we're going to hear from him shortly, as well as Eddie Smith finishing in second after a dominant performance. Dylan Simmons, I'm excited to talk to him. He worked his way through the field and waited at the last possible second to make that move. Charles Abert in fourth. Jamie Lipke, after being up in the front with the pole position, finishes out in fifth. Daniel Parks, sixth. Thaddeus Friel respectable 7th after starting in 19th. Jason Kristen finishes out in P8. Brandon Wallace, old man Brandon Wallace, finishes it in P9. And Trevor Dyer, after a huge run to the front, just runs out of a little bit of gas and finishes out in P10. Still respectable.
Wesley Burke will finish in the 11th position, able to hang on those 2 tires. Brock Price had a lot of speed, not the finish he may want, but still a nice recovery after that spin for P12. Joshua Unger, we didn't talk about him at all here tonight, but up 17 spots, biggest mover of the race from where he started, finishes in 13th. Chuck Phelps comes home in the 14th position. Kevin Price in 15th. Colton Sisk comes home in 16th. 17th is Mark Barcelos with Rem Wyatt in the 18th position. Noah Hogard, he completed all the laps tonight, Sam. I know you kind of were ribbing him a little bit earlier that you were surprised he was still out there running. He brings it home. He finishes all the laps, comes home in 19th, and Darren Price in the 20th position.
Yeah, rounding out the back half of the field, Crack Keel, Fear the Crack Keel. Love to see him out here. Finishes in 21st. Colton Sisk finishes out in P22. Matt Webbers finishes in P23. Bill Mofield in 24th. Hayden Muir, after that accident, finishes out in P25. John Herman, as always, finishes in P26. Nate Cotilla was up in the front, battling in that top 10, falls back to P27. Mike Swartzen to P28. Randall Peasley, after his accident, falls back to P29. And Nick Trussell, always great to have Nick out here, finishes in P30. Well, we're going to bring in our winner for tonight. It was a controversial finish at the end, but Alan Smith, Sam Yosef, and Daniel Cunningham in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Man, you and your son showed the world tonight what a great battle can be to the end. Walk us through that last lap. What were you thinking on trying to get past Eddie for that win?
Well, I knew that was going to be a tough task right there, and I was trying to watch behind me more than I was watching him. I was just trying to catch his draft, seeing if the other guys were coming, and then I smacked the wall just a little bit there, and but man, the last couple of laps, the last couple of turns there, I never let out of it. I just ran it wide open, and I think he may have started running out of gas there at the end or something.
Yeah, something I think a post-race check is going to be needed on that engine, because it was kind of odd how he just blowed up right there. But you still get the win. This is your second race of the season. How do you like it being in the truck so far?
Oh man, yeah, I love the ARCA cars and the trucks. Now, once we move up, it's going to be kind of tough, but those guys, we had such a great race tonight. Daniel Parks and Charles Abert, and those guys were coming up through there, and Jamie Lipke, and we had such a blast up there. It was just so much fun tonight, and that's the whole thing. Is we had a great time. We had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed. Shades of Dale and Dale Jr. battling it out for the win at the end. Just with that, Alan, who do you have to thank for this first place tonight?
Well, I want to thank my family for watching. My wife's watching, Terry Lynn, and Granny over in North Mississippi. Hey, y'all say hello to Granny, but she's watching tonight, and so glad that you guys are here, you and Daniel, and you guys for broadcasting and putting this on, and I appreciate that. But I also have to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for what he did for me and giving me eternal life. And we want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22. We want to thank Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, INVETS, and the great people at ATYL. And, of course, I want to thank everybody coming out and watching tonight. It was such a great race. I just had such a great time. Appreciate all my competitors. I know they had to lift for me a couple of times, and I appreciate that. I got up a little bit too high, but I appreciate what we did tonight. Had a great time. It was fun.
Well, Alan, it's always great talking to you. It's been great seeing you race tonight. We'll see you next week out in wow, this is bad that I don't remember what the next race is, but we'll be out. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have another good race.
All right. Appreciate it, Sam. Thanks a lot.
Skylar's telling me we're going to Vegas. That's pretty bad that I don't remember. But Daniel, you got this.
Yeah, I'm standing by with the runner up here this evening, Eddie Smith. This is Daniel up in booth. You got me?
Hey, what's up?
Well, man, you went out there, led 46 laps. I'm not gonna lie, I thought you had the thing in the bag there, about 3 or 4 laps to go, but still a great run. You had a lot of hard battle in there with Jamie Lipke. So early on, when you were battling with Lipke, was it just a matter of just trying to be patient, or were you really trying to get up there and take control of the race and keep that clean air?
I wanted clean air by about 25 laps in the run when it became impossible to maybe pass on the bottom. So I was trying to save, or that first run, trying to save tires on the bottom, just kind of ride behind Lipke. And then once I start to feel like the tires are going, try to get that clean air. And that way the top becomes, pretty dominant there. So that's what I was trying to do. Lipke beat me out on pit road a couple times and made me work for it. But man, that third restart, was able to get a great jump and able to get control of the race there towards the end, and that was really, really, really huge. Just trying to get the clean air. You could pass early on, but by the time you got to lap 20 or so, you really needed to be out front with clean air so you can control it from the outside. So that's what I was trying to do. I thought I did an okay job of it there, and just a fun race all around.
Yeah, it was definitely a great one to call up here in the booth. And, you get beat out by your dad on the last lap. Last turn, he makes the move, is able to get around you. Do you feel like he's not going to let you live this one down, that he was able to get you on the last lap, and that, now he's got a little bit of bragging rights on you for a little bit?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be bringing this one up a lot. And I got a little tight there in 3 and 4. I thought I was good and just was maybe – you know how you just take it maybe a little bit too easy, and then the car don't act like it's supposed to. And so it got a little bit tight, and I thought, well, I still got it. He ain't going to be able to get to me. But he had a massive run. And he'd been hitting the wall, and I've been telling him to quit hitting the wall so we can pull away. And then, he just had a perfect 3 and 4 and just got a little bit tight. And these things are so momentum-based. If you ever have to lift for whatever reason, you get in trouble. So he was able to get me right at the line. Looks like 8 1/1000ths of a second. Yeah, just awesome. Awesome to be side by side with your dad at the checker flag. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing that battle between the two of you. And, if y'all are getting together for 4th of July or anything, he may have this up, doing a replay of the broadcast before the fireworks set off or something. So that way he can point out to everybody like, hey, here's where I passed Eddie. But still, great race to watch. Great one to be a part of up here. Congrats on the second place. And before we let you go, who you want to thank or shout out for this one?
Yeah, thank Goat Locker for having a space where we can come in here and have a good time like this. Always a lot of fun. Great racing across the board. Got to thank all of the partners with Goat Locker, Save 22. You've got Alexander PCs. You've got Lincoln Tech. And all the great sponsors, InVets, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and just the whole squad here tonight. I think we put on a pretty good show, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
There you have it from second place, Eddie Smith. Congrats again on the strong run. See you at Vegas next week. And Sam, I believe you've caught up with third place Dylan Simmons.
Yeah, Dylan Simmons is here in the booth. Dylan, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, Dylan, I was loving the paint scheme. I'm a huge Chick-fil-A fan, which I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but that Chick-fil-A car was running through the field. Walk us through that last lap. I saw you trying to find that clean air with Daniel Parks and Jamie Lipke battling it out, and you made a masterclass move at the end. Walk us through that.
Oh, it was more than just that last lap. I was fighting from 18th back up to the front after I got damaged, but the last lap, I knew I was faster than both of them. They just kept on beating each other up, so it was only going to be a matter of time. I watched Parks bounce off the apron, so that's when I knew I was just going to shoot low coming out of 2. Took the momentum down the back, and that third place finish to Abert. He could have picked any one of those 3. He gave me the bump going into 3, and I think he picked me because yesterday we were both working together in the Warrior Series race. So huge thanks to him for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have our fellow Coastie getting a podium position. You had a great race yesterday, and now you upgrade that to a podium position in the Foundation Series. I'm gonna bug Conrad Whedon now that I think you're the favorite Coastie in Goat Locker. But I mean, with that third place finish, man, who do you have to thank for that?
Goat Locker putting on a fantastic race. Obviously, everybody involved in the race, it was great fun. No matter where I was in the field, it was it was a good time driving around everybody. Didn't have too many issues. Obviously, and again, the huge thanks to Abert.
Yeah, definitely. Charles Abert definitely helped you out right there. Definitely returned the favor after what you did for him in that foundation in the Warrior Series yesterday here on V Speed. But great to hear from you, Dylan. I'm expecting more podiums from you out here. What's your thoughts on Las Vegas next week?
It's one of my better tracks, so hopefully we'll get a better finish next week.
Right. Well, I'll be looking out for you, especially with that Chick-fil-A paint. Dylan Simmons here in third place. Well, that was a huge win to see tonight here at Kansas Speedway, Daniel. And another chapter is written here in the Foundation Series. Looking at the schedule going forward, we're heading to Las Vegas in the trucks. And I know personally, running the trucks to Las Vegas, it's a lot of fun, full out. But tires are going to be an issue for these drivers, just like Kansas. What do you think of what we got coming up?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. I think we'll see a lot of what we saw tonight next week at Vegas as well. The one that I'm really looking forward to out of the remaining ones is that Watkins Glen race in the O'Reilly's cars. I know Watkins Glen is kind of the standard road course that we always go to here in Goat Locker, so it's definitely going to give some different drivers an opportunity to get up there and show their chops on the left and right turns.
Yes, I can hear Skyler in our ear right now just salivating at the fact that we're taking the O'Reilly's car to Watkins Glen, probably the harder combo between the trucks and the next gen. So it's going to be great to watch. But as always, Daniel, it's great to have you in the booth. Great to hear that your wife and kid is doing well. This is the Lincoln Tech Foundation Series. My name is Samuel Yosef. I have my partner in crime, Daniel Cunningham. Skyler Daly out here with the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We'll see you next week at Las Vegas.